Welcome. Today we're going to be sharing with you a subject which is titled The Priest and the Imam. I know that sounds like the beginning of some kind of rather strange joke, the priest and the Imam went together on a trip, but anyway, it's the two of us together. I'm the priest, you're the Imam. I'm the priest because I've been working as a priest for coming up 60 years in June, so that's a rather long time, man and boy. But I've worked mainly in York for 35 years and also in the countryside of North Yorkshire, in James Herriot country, before that in Dockland, Hull, so I've been things and seen places. That's in my time, which I've enjoyed enormously. And you are an Imam, so I'm not quite sure where you are an Imam. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, thank you, Paul. I came to York in 2010. Actually to the UK in 2010, first Cambridge and then York. But I am an Imam because I now act as an Imam in the University of York prayer room in Alcuin College. I've been doing that for nearly a decade now. Yes, and also my father, he was an Imam, and my brother is a scholar. I belong actually to a family of scholars. Like my great-grandfather is called Abdul Qadir al-Jilani. He was one of the big scholars in Baghdad, in 1,000 years ago.
I see. So you've got this all in your DNA, have you?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, my father was a priest as well, but before that, I come from a long generation of coal miners in Barnsley. So I'm not quite sure what we did emerging from the pit, deciding we'd become priests. But anyway, we've moved there. So and we came together. You say you came in 2010, and I would meet you fairly soon after that. When you were looking to apply for asylum.
Yeah, actually we met before that. When we met in the Minister, when we were having a meeting at the Minister to help the Syrian refugees. So we met there for the first time, and you gave me your card.
Well, you've got a long memory.
And at that time I was a PhD student.
Yes.
And I also started acting as Imam in the prayer room in York. And then I contacted you because and then you helped me with my asylum.
Yes. Well,
application.
Claiming asylum is best not done alone, I would say.
That's
advice to anybody is find somebody who can help you do this, who knows something about the system and can support you through it, because it's not an easy passage as well and it can take time, and it certainly needs people who are not me but other people I can point people to who have legal expertise to help you through the labyrinth that is asylum applications. But you were successful in your family as well.
Yes, well, I came here as a rescued academic. I was in Baghdad, working in Baghdad University. I also worked in the Ministry of Higher Education in Iraq, and I was working with many NGOs as well. I was since the beginning of the occupation of Iraq in 2003. I started working. I also helped founding some NGOs, some local NGOs, and I was doing many projects actually in Iraq. And when I was targeted in 2010, I was working on a project for the UNICEF, and it was on the use of depleted uranium in Iraq, by the American Army. So yes, and then I was rescued and I was brought here.
Yes.
So
So you were definitely a person with a real claim for asylum, because your life was in danger and had been endangered during your time there. So that is the definition of a refugee: someone who is in danger for persecution or for other reasons and so on.
Yes, that is right.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes.
Good.
And I've been working in the University of York since then, as a lecturer in Arabic studies.
Yes. So you were working as a lecturer in Baghdad University.
I was working in Baghdad as a lecturer in English.
Yes.
But here I came as a lecturer in Arabic.
There's a claim to fame that you have, that you, I believe, translated the romantic poetry of William Wordsworth.
I do translate poetry. That's my specialization. So I translate the untranslatable. But I was teaching English literature in Iraq, in Syria as well, like in universities here. I'm teaching Arabic literature.
Because you
can't sell water to those who live by the river.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the thing.
I want to just talk a little bit about how we work together. You as Imam, myself as a priest.
Yeah.
But it's really the role that we have in other directions, because we both now work for an organisation called York City of Sanctuary.
Yes.
And so that needs a bit of unpacking, I think, because not everybody knows what City of Sanctuary is. It is, in fact, a national movement that began in Sheffield, I think, around 2010. And by 2012, knowledge of that organisation had seeped as far as York. And the City Council said, we'd be interested in, becoming a City of Sanctuary, even though at the time we didn't have that many refugees in the city as we do now.
That's right.
And so I went along to a meeting to discuss how we would develop this. And I could see straight away that unless somebody took the lead on this, it would just die in the swamp. It wouldn't actually ever see the light of day. So I offered to take the lead in helping it move forward. And I've been involved since 2012 until now. So there you go. If you want to volunteer, be aware of how long this will take. But you also came on board as a member of what we call the management team at that point.
Yes.
And together we helped to enable the city to develop the criteria necessary to submit an application to the national body enabling the city to be registered as a City of Sanctuary.
The City of Sanctuary.
Fulfill the things. And you also have helped with the development of the University of York as a University of Sanctuary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I joined York City of Sanctuary as a member of the Board of Trustees in 2018.
Yes.
And and since then we've been working together, helping refugees, asylum seekers, and actually I very much like the idea of sanctuary. It's very inspiring.
It's a strong word.
Very strong word,
yes,
because
yeah.
we are a city of sanctuary. Everyone who is in need of sanctuary, and you see, like, because I am an imam and you are a priest, and usually we have in the mosque or in the church, it's called a sanctuary,
yes,
which is like a place of refuge, place of where those who are afraid, uncertain, they come to seek help and seek peace there. So it is something that we are trying to provide, actually.
Picture, it's a kind of like also a message in there of safety.
Of safety,
You cannot be violated if you're in that place of sanctuary.
That's right.
That's also important, So, and the University of York also has become a University of Sanctuary, as has York St John's. So
yes, both universities. Both universities in York are now like universities of sanctuary, and that's actually very good, because once a university becomes a university of sanctuary, it then tries to help also students who are refugees, and also give like scholarships to, for example, refugees, asylum seekers. So the university will start thinking of, under the umbrella of inclusion, that how to get those people, vulnerable people, integrated into the community and get access to education and get access to developing their skills and eventually find work and be good citizens in the city and the community where they live. So that is a very important thing, actually. That's a very good thing.
Yes. And we are part of the partnership, the network that expands throughout the city.
Yes, City of Sanctuary.
We work closely with the City Council because they are the City of Sanctuary.
Yes.
And we've just had our first School of Sanctuary, Fishergate School, which quite a large number of the children there come from background from asylums, seeking families and refugees and so on, and they're doing such a brilliant job, such a beautiful job there.
Amazing.
You go to that school and you see children from many languages, all integrating in a harmonious way and a sort of really caring, peaceful, calm sort of place. Who dares to say that we shouldn't be multicultural? you know, we shouldn't have this diversity and so forth.
I mean, diversity and multiculturalism is a richness, actually, is a source of power to the country and to the community. That's very important.
Yes,
like
it is.
Baghdad, for example, in its prime, like in what's called the Golden Age, 40% of the population of Baghdad were not Arabs and were not Muslims as well. But they were living in the city, creating things, writing books, inventing, doing great things. And at that time, Baghdad was the center of the world. So, and leading the world in achievement and in development and all these things. So it is very important to have multiculturalism. Actually, it's very important. That is something that should be like actually a source of power and so it is important, actually. It's very important.
Yeah, indeed. So I want to turn now to another area of discussion between us. I just want to sort of focus a little bit on York as it is now. We've talked about this idea of being multicultural and so
Yes.
on. And certainly when I came to York in 1990, York, in fact, at that time had the smallest diverse population, apart from Carlisle, in the whole of the UK. It was very predominantly, people who lived in the city and had lived there for generations. But it's not so now. 11% of the population now come from other parts of the world and have migrated here, settled, working here, and so on. So it's a very different kind of city. And of course, in more recent times, the mosque has expanded and built a beautiful building now. I'm just wondering what your experience is now as a member of the Muslim community in York, as you have been, because there are underpockets of people who are, raising hostility towards those who are here and those who are amongst us as migrants and so on, and refugees and asylum seekers. I mean, they're a small group, but they're very vocal and very vociferous. What is your take on that?
Well, I mean, the mentality of Islam is that it's built on diversity. So the thing is, like for example, in Iraq or in Syria where I lived, or in any Arab Muslim country, you will find that people would welcome diversity and accept it when someone different goes to them, or different I mean here in color or in background and ethnicity. When he goes there, he or she, they go there, they will be welcomed there because, well, this is how the people look at it. When I arrived to York in 2010, and before that in Cambridge, I actually, at that time, like it was 2010, I had the same impression that there was a some kind of an environment of welcoming. Although I came to the university, like I did not come to when I arrived in Cambridge, I arrived to the university, and the academic society or the academic community is of course something like different from the public community, but still like the public community at that time back then was okay, was very nice actually, was welcoming. We did not have many issues, but I mean, my experience today is that things were changing, especially after Brexit. Let's say I've started to notice like there is a rising tide of kind of like hate and racism in the community, and this is actually not. It's very dangerous, to be honest. I mean, because we had the same experience in 2003 in Iraq. So when I saw, for example, the flags, recently, like a few months ago, I was a bit scared, to be honest. And many refugees in the city, they were asking me, asking me, what are these flags? Because this is, it's reminiscent of what happened in Iraq after 2003. Because in Iraq, we started to have flags after 2003, and those flags were representing certain ethnicities and religious backgrounds, and then those were triggering the sectarian conflict in Iraq. So sectarianism, or let's say like racism, and it is not something that we should tolerate at all. It is something that we should be very careful about. So my idea is that there is a change. Actually, there is some kind of change, but unfortunately, this change was from like positive to negative, and this started to happen after after Brexit. But talking about the Muslim community, I mean, basically the word Islam means to submit, to surrender. So usually, basically the Muslim community is the community that seeks peace, that does not at all have in their dictionaries, let's say, any act or gesture or intention of hate or of violence or all these things. Basically, we as Muslims, when I was living in Iraq, for example, when we were looking at when the two towers in the USA were targeted, we were very sad, and we were saying, what is that and why it is happening in the name of Islam? So we were asking this question, that why this is happening in the name of Islam? Who are those people? And actually the Muslim countries were the first victims of these kind of radical or terrorist groups, such as ISIS, because they killed more Muslims than non-Muslims. So yes, yeah.
Well, so we see there is a tide, and I think aren't you part of the anti-hate crime group that works and operates in York as a city?
Yes, I act as member of the York Hate Crime Partnership, and we meet like every couple of months to talk about like issues related to hate and racism around the city of York. So yes, unfortunately, records always talk about like this is something that is rising, and there are some attacks, and there are some, which is actually very sad.
It is sad, but I think we have to accept as a society it's an issue that we have to deal with strongly, because we see examples of it in football, in rugby union, in all sorts of sports as well. It's raising its head. When we thought that it was on the decline, it turns out not to be so, and we have to make sure that politicians and others are held accountable for the language they use when talking about people of other religions and other ethnicities as well. So it's an area we really do have to work hard on, and we must stand together in opposing it, because it's like a sickness that can spread and cause damage and harm to society.
Yes, that is of course something like we cannot tolerate. In Baghdad, for example, where I was living, there was a church, and opposite the church there was a mosque, and together they were, for years, since I was a child, like they were together there for years. And I saw a video yesterday in Egypt, where they were doing a football match with children, and then an imam, a Muslim imam, and a Christian, like a priest, they were playing also with them, together. Of course, it is something. I mean, both in Christianity and Islam and in Judaism, and this is something that in Islam, for example, the Quran says clearly, which is quoted in Arabic, يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. So, which means like, all mankind, we created you from male and female, and we made you like nations and tribes so that you may know each other. The nearest to God amongst you is the one who is the most righteous. So that is, that is very beautiful, and this is what we believe in.
Well, we have those of us who follow the Christian faith, if we're actually truly following the teaching of Jesus, he was at all times inclusive. People came to him, Greek people from Syria, people who were not Jewish. And of course he accepted and welcomed people, and those of us who were seeking to take over the Christian faith and say this is the faith of white people and so on, this is nonsense, and we have to resist this as well.